Hello, hello, most beautiful stars, you beautiful shiny ones, you ones that are full of light and love. Good day, good morning, good evening, whenever you're catching this. I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. Good to be with you. So, this today is a live episode. Most of my episodes are live. I just go off the cuff and do my thing. This is a collection, though, that I will create a playlist of chaos and order. So those who need to catch up, because they kind of play off of each other, right? For those that need to catch up, can just go to that playlist. I will be doing that later today. So, hello, hello, whenever you're catching this, good to be with you. I am live, so therefore I do say hello to those who come into the chat. I try to exchange with them as best as I can while also delivering a message. Today is November 1st, 2024, but this series, The Chaos and Order, including this episode, are really going to be timeless. So, whenever you're catching this beautiful star, now, later, please hit the like button, share it out, consider subscribing, and ring my bell. Yes, I see that Seeker of Truth came into the chat. Good to see you, my dear. Good day, good day. Happy sunrise. So, we have been discussing chaos and order, not versus order, not opposed to order. I have been discussing how when we can expand our view, expand our perception, gain the awareness, that we can see that chaos and order flow together, that all energy really flows. There's been this ongoing theme, or I should say a few themes, of releasing fears, remembering who you are, and how energy works. Today, I'm going to be kind of still in those themes a bit, and it might be a long show again, folks. I have to say, I'm not going to read from any ancient texts or ancient materials like I did in the second episode of this series with the Nagamati scriptures and some other stuff from the scene. I am going to just speak. Today, we're going to discuss the collective reading for November 2024 from the Akashic Records. We are going to discuss the Hopi prophecy of the blue star. We're going to discuss awareness and the remembering opposed to security, right? We are going to talk also towards the end. So stick with us, please. Towards the end, I am going to clarify what people mean by timeline shifts or timeline jumps, timelines, period. I'm going to clarify these things because I have noticed it has also become somewhat of a cliche word within the spiritual movement, right? So stick through all the way to the end. There's going to be a lot of good stuff spoken about today. I can go for quite a while. I can. So this is more of a podcast than a quick fix, right? This is a lot of words to chew on while you listen. So good day, good evening, wherever you may be. Someone, beloved Julie Strout, reminded me that this weekend is also daylight savings time. So yay, we get to remember to move our clocks all around. Which I gotta say, folks, in this house, I think is a good thing because I just realized recently that all of the clocks in my house are wrong. They are all off. None of them are working accordingly. So maybe this will be a good thing and I'll get my life together. And I bring that up because we live in a world that talks about how there's no such thing as time. Oh, there's time, just not in the conceptual way that we view it. But there is a such thing as time and space. There is. So, all right. Good morning, everyone. Good to be with you. Welcome to Stars of Morning Light. Oh, before I truly begin to dive in, yesterday, Halloween, I was able to deliver all of the donation items that lovely subscribers and patrons here of Stars of the Morning Light um, were that donated. We got a bunch of stuff from blankets to flannels to food to all sorts of things. And I do have a new list as to what people need, much more like small propane tanks. And I want to inform everyone when I went to Walmart and the Walmart near my house is the biggest Walmart in the area. I live in the South and it's the biggest. Went there to like stock up on stuff like that. They were out. And I talked to one of the stock guys, and he said once that hurricane came, everybody was wiping out a lot of their inventory. So for uh, trips to North Carolina, so I purchased stuff that was also needed, still pads, still, things that are a monthly thing, right? There's a clip in the videos. There's also a clip with me meeting Michael, who is Garage Bound LLC in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is going to continuously take trips. He even rolled in on with one of his trucks. He's got the capability to bring big long hauls down there, 2 trailers if he needs to. Um, he is going to be collecting. I will still be working towards efforts. It will be an ongoing process, because as we know, most of us, it's like we move on. We move on real fast. We have very short memories. And this is also apropos to the message of today. We have very short memories. And with the oncoming US election, with the holidays coming, with all the ups and downs of life, many people are just going to move on and forget. I always like to use the comparison when this happens. I think it was back in 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, when hundreds of girls in Africa were kidnapped. We didn't know where they were. And all of the quote unquote movie stars, politicians, were on TV, on commercials saying, let the girls go, let the girls go. I mean, it was this huge campaign. It lasted about 3 weeks. And then people forgot and people moved on. Yeah, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. I was like, where are these girls? We never heard what actually happened. But it was this huge campaign, and everybody all across social media wanted those girls released. About 600 girls were kidnapped, and we don't know where they were. Well, folks, I then looked into it, and the about 2 years later, right before I think COVID hit, there was one news article I could find. Only 96 girls were released. We don't know where all those hundreds of girls were. Maybe it was 300, I don't remember, but we don't know where they went. Only 96 of them were released. The point I'm trying to make is that usually for the first 3 weeks of anything big, anything huge, the whole world uses it for whatever advantage or whatever they are feeling in the moment. And then it's forgotten about. It's always forgotten about. We have very short-term memories. The same potential of something like that happening within the hurricane aspect could also happen. A part of this message today is also going to be returning back to the New Year predictions here at Stars of Morning Light. where it talked a lot about the earth changing, a lot about having to go to the old ways, a lot of native prophecies. You can go into my playlist, it is there. New Year's predictions. A lot of that is coming into fruition. We are seeing it. I spoke a lot about natural disasters. But if one happens, as one is happening in Spain, and then one happens here, and then one happens here, it's going to become more like, well, everyday issues that we just pass by and don't notice, like our homeless on the street, like our kids in need, like whatever it may be, right? So let us not forget that us humans are ultimate, that us humans are grander and greater and more powerful than any system, any organization, anything that um, gives the illusion of security. And I will be here to remind everybody. that is the goal of Stars of the Morning Light, is to remember, to remind all of you that you are beautiful, powerful, glorious stars that can achieve all things and manifest all things and do all things, that you are limitless. That is the goal of Stars of the Morning Light. So keep that in mind. Let us not forget. Let us not forget, because there's a huge campaign and lots of social media out there for about 3 weeks, but then within 3 months, everybody's moved on. Right? We don't do that here at Stars of the Morning Light. We remember. We remember. We remember. Okay, so, and that's part of the title of today. So, chaos and order. To refresh everybody's mind, if you have not seen the previous episodes, please go back and watch the originals. Like I said, I will be putting together a playlist of just this series, because this series is going to be timeless in that effect of whoever is waking up to new ideas, new concepts. This will be here to help. There's chaos, right? The last episode we discussed quite in depth where the chaos came from in this 3D world. There's chaos. And then there's order. And it is natural for all beings on this earth, actually all galactic beings as well, all beings of this system, to be looking to create order amongst the chaos. It is natural, because all we see is the chaos. And we know intrinsically that it is not right for us. It's not right for nature. It's not right for the animals, us, all energy beings. It's not our natural state of being to be living and consuming and operating within this chaos. Like I said, the previous episode, I discussed in depth where a lot of this came from, based out of the Nagamati scriptures. But regardless of that, everyone, every tribe, every nation, all the peoples can understand wherever their story of origin of chaos comes from, there is chaos, especially in 3D. What I am trying to emphasize here is, even if we can't see it, even if we only see the doom and gloom, the ending and not the beginning, as we go into the November collective Akashic reading in this message, even if we only see the doom and gloom, the ending and not the beginning, there is great order also flowing within the great chaos. but is now ingrained in us, even though it's not our natural state of being, but due to the fog, the forgetfulness, we are now tapped into only recognizing, noticing the chaos, despair, tragedy, opposed to really truly seeing how order is within all things and then being able to pull from that. Here's an example. So, like I said at the beginning, yesterday I went and dropped off those donations to Michael at Garage Bound LLC, who also has a channel. You guys can go and subscribe to him. Um, what happened was you all donated. I received the stuff, and I kind of figured this was going to happen because everyone has short term memory, everyone has their own lives to live. That a lot of the distribution centers, even in North Carolina, by the way, North Carolina, Georgia, around me, um, had shut down or moved on. I also got reports that Red Cross has moved out. They basically have turned to everybody and said, we can't help this. We can't help. I will also tell you, there's been lots of different input as to how those people that grew up there, lived there, they are being actually they are protecting all sorts of things in their own right, in their own way. Mountain folk, they will handle things. Same as anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. Stay tuned to the Edgar Casey Life Skill Studies because I found a companion book to go with our reincarnation book that will talk about how we incarnate within the same area and groups of people over and over again, not to just help us quote unquote learn lessons, as I teach that there is no such thing here, but to help in matters like this. So all of us come together. And sometimes we have to push those out who, rightly so, don't need to be there, who take instead of give. So I do receive a lot of reports, and I'm not going to speak of them all here, right? There's actually no need to, other than to emphasize that humans do come together. Emphasize that when I had to drop off donations, a lot of them had closed down. Not saying they won't reopen, but at the time being, they were closed down. And I searched for 2 days to find somewhere, somehow. First, I was a little bit like, oh my goodness, you know. But then I remembered who I am and paused and took a nice deep breath. And I went, no, I trust I'm going to find somewhere. And I'm actually going to find somewhere close. And they're probably going to do a load pretty darn fast. I know I will. I trust that I will. I'm going to manifest that. And I took a nice deep breath. And I did. I found Michael, who is going to be taking a full truckload down November 8th, next Friday. Glorious, wonderful, wonderful. So even in those pockets of, oh my goodness, where are the people? What are the people thinking and doing? Where have they gone? What is going on? Pause, review, trust, take a nice deep breath, and manifest. Just know that when you're doing the right thing, it will appear. Before I continue, as I'm going to fully start getting into the topic here. Thank you all for coming. I see that Jackie J has come into the chat. So has Kim. Good morning. Good morning. Happy day. Happy November 1st. Y'all, I do have to say, I'm kind of happy it's November. October was kind of kicking my butt. So I'm very happy that it is November. Uh, Before I read our sacred geometry card that came out for this message, I do want to inform people that tonight, Lucky Stone 888 and I will be a pre recorded show here at Stars of Morning Light at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us if you can in the chat. It'll be a great time. Also, next Friday, a big reason why I needed to get all those boxes out of my house yesterday is because I will be having a house guest here next Friday. This is my girl we became real tight in middle school. So we're pushing like 30 years of friendship. She's going to be here for just a brief few days, meaning I'm not going to be in attendance live with you next Friday, November 8th. I'm also not going to be with Lucky. He and I spoke about it. He is going to serve up something on his channel, Lucky Stone 888. For that Friday. And then Lucky and I, folks, when we return then the following Friday, and we'll probably maybe start doing more lives at his channel, we're going to then take a deep dive into that inner voice aspect. So, and then do our Thanksgiving special, which is always fun. For those that don't know, Lucky and I both have ancestors on the Mayflower. Mine was Dutch, his was English. So we tend to argue it out. No. um, my ancestor actually there's great books about him, great story about him. John Holland, the boy who fell off the Mayflower, is my ancestor. Lucky's was, them other English people. So join us tonight here at 8 p.m. for Lucky Stone 888 with Esoteric Tea. All right, folks. We pulled number 15, compassion. Compassion. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others. Oh, Lord. I'm going to cry maybe this morning. Y'all are making me cry. Let me start again. Number 15, compassion. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. I'm going to hold this up, folks. It will probably take my camera a moment to adjust. I do believe I will be getting a new camera soon, everyone. This was good for the time being, but as technology changes, I have to change. So compassion, 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 compassion. Let me pull it out this way. Compassion. It's such a light. The reason why you might not be able to see all the little nuances to this sacred geometry card, I'm hoping you can see all the different rings of light emanating from the center flower, lotus type flower. When a lotus is open, by the way. It is a beautiful card, but there's such subtle nuances in it. And also there's, oh man, I'll take a picture, y'all, and I'll put it in a short for you, or the comments. I'll put it in the comments, because what you all might not be able to see is there is vast different sacred geometry in this, more so than others, like the currents of energy that lines of energy that would flow within compassion. And I mean, we have Merkabahs, we have pyramids, we have one, two, three. We have a six-pointed star that's built out of all of this. We have so much going on, even all the different points of light. This card has such nuance that hopefully my phone can take a great picture for you, and I will post in the comment section. But regardless if you can see the sacred geometry or not, it's compassion, as I'll read again, the energy of compassion, which we all can hold. I believe one of the episodes here was karma or opportunity, right? Chaos and order, karma or opportunity. And I, as my teachers kept repeating and repeating and repeating, so I will repeat to you um, all things in life, every conversation, situation, things viewed, things internal, external, all things in life is actually an opportunity to choose compassion over judgment, to practice compassion for self and others, to practice compassion for self and others. I spoke a great deal about this in one of these episodes. So this card is probably coming out to remind me, even in this episode, of security or remembering. It is always to choose compassion for self and others. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into the world. It's lovely. Unfortunately, I know that there's many people out there that kind of argue that there is no such thing as unconditional love. In my humble opinion, to me, when I hear people talk about that, it's because they have not begun to practice it. Oftentimes, with love, compassion, unconditional love, we have to be the one to practice it for ourselves first, for within ourselves, to love and accept ourselves fully, and then have it rain out to others, right? Pour onto others and practice continuous choice of compassion first. And then our views start to change, opposed to trying to find it outside of ourself. Because if you try to find it outside with amongst the chaos, it's going to be kind of hard. Same as training our eyes to see the order amongst the chaos is kind of hard. But the two flow amongst each other. Okay. So as I'm looking at my list kind of where I was headed with this, I have a lot of stuff written down here, and I'm kind of going to be pulling from different elements that I wrote down. Once again, I'm not going to read from any material. I'm just going to kind of go off the cuff as I normally do. So we have chaos, we have order. We've been discussing this. Both beautiful stars, both call for security in our minds. In our human minds, they call for security. Chaos calls for security, which in our representation is order. We get a lot of security when things flow into order. And so, therefore, order being the representation of our security, also for it, right? Everything that we sense November 1st, 2024 is based out of these ideals of the desire for order and security because we live amongst the chaos. So chaos is what um, propels us to seek the order, have the security, personal security, uh, community security, state security, national security, worldwide security, right? And I'm not saying that it's not a good thing. I think as we all understand, humans, our top desires are to be loved, respected, and security. What I mean by security when I say this, right? Because all humans deserve that, and that is the great ideals: love, respect, security. So, security, that is our shelter, that is our food, that is our well being, that is our somewhat standing in community so we can secure our well being, right? Security means a lot of things wrapped up into one word that apparently order creates for us based out of mayhem of chaos's need for security. I'm bringing this up because to show the representation even more that chaos and order are flowing in and out of each other constantly. Constantly. And so I want to ask you all right now, what makes you feel secure? I'll get a little personal here because for some people, it is not a roof over their head. The basics have always been supplied, they have always been present. So for some, it's not that, it's an internal security to feel that they can express themselves authentically without being rejected. So when we ask ourselves, when we ask our conscious mind, when we ask our heart, what is my ideal, what makes me feel secure, or where do I feel that I'm lacking in security? So years and years ago, I got married. Whew, didn't know what marriage was. I'm a Leo who really likes her space. Didn't know what marriage was, and I married a man who is a double cancer, so he feels a lot of things. Cancer's known as a big cosmic sponge. Well, if you're a double, man, you're soaking it all in. Me being a very headstrong Leo with a bunch of Scorpio, I was also working 50, 60, 70-hour weeks in hardcore case management. Let's just say I didn't have all the coping skills and all of the resolve that I have now, that I would come home a lot with all of those, all of the energies of all the case management stuff, right? So I'm heavy. I'm very dense. I'm very heavy. He started calling me Eagle because I was so very intense. Very straight focused, intense, heavy all the time. Well, that's hard. That was hard for my husband. And I get it because I'm an intense person, anyways. So for me in that environment, I can't even imagine for him. So we seeked a little bit of help. And one of those helps was, write a list of what you both want in a marriage. I wrote mine, and mine was all very black and white, very masculine based. I would say very masculine. It was, I want this amount in the bank account. I want this. I want, as in security, for, in my opinion, right? If we have X, Y, and Z, I will feel secure. And it was all tangible. It was all very masculine based, very object and house and career and money and, very, very masculine, straightforward, black and white. And we shared these lists, and my husband's main one was that he wanted to feel secure at home. And I didn't understand what he was saying. I did not understand because for me, security is a roof over your head. You got food on the table. You got a little bit, you can pay your bills. Like that is security to me. And nothing severely dangerous is happening. There's no, you know, very dangerous stuff happening. That is security for me. That is how I grew up. That is my understanding. When the basics are met, and I am not in physical harm, I'm good. At least at the time for who Courtney was, we've been married for 50. But for him, none of that was even in his comprehension of what he needed and what he wanted. He kept saying, I don't feel secure. And I would turn to him and go, how can that even be? You don't ever go without. There's nothing harming you. And then he would just look at me. What I came to find out is for him, feeling safe and secure and listened to, a safe environment that's not full of me all intense with the growing amount of case management that I had going on. I mean, I had 60 kids on my docket at one point, guys. Um, for him, it was based on feeling secure enough that when he spoke, I listened and I actually cared about what he said. That when he walked into the house, it wasn't full of anger and drab and dreary, that it was actually, there was some light present, that he felt like he could be his authentic self without me ragging on him negative, that sort of thing. Because I was trying to create order of what my sense of order and security was. Very codependent issues going on, and we have resolved all this. The reason I'm sharing kind of intimate aspects there is because for some, it might be those tangible things, shelter, food, out of harm's way. And then for others, it might be more of an internal need of security that I am seen, I am heard, I am not being judged, I am not being rejected. Either or. This episode is chaos and order. They flow together with security or remembering. So, wherever that answer is for you, when you ask yourself sincerely, what is security for me? And if do I feel as if I'm lacking security? I hope this is all making sense. So, with that being said, you're somewhere probably in the mix of that, right? You're somewhere in the mix of that. So, what can be the solution to outside influence security, internal security? It's what this channel is all about. Remembering, remembering who you are. Remember, remember, remember. Before I go into more of this, I'm going to pause for a moment. So, in a lot of ways, this message might bring up fear based concepts as I keep going. Okay. From reading the collective message for November of 2024 to the Blue Star prophecies of the Hopi, to all sorts of stuff, right? To all sorts of stuff, even things that are happening in the sky right now that are going to climax on November 5th. Beautiful people. The main point of this message is within the remembering can cover wherever we feel the lack and the need for security. Chaos shows us the lack. We search for order based out of what we think we remember and know to fill that need. I am suggesting that in all aspects, we remember. We remember. Before I go into the remembering, so there will be some aspects, and I'm going to give a little scenario here, that some of this might sound fearful. I do not hold fear. I do not. I do not hold fear. And so I'm trying to promote that we don't need to. We are beautiful, magnificent, living, lasting, limitless beings, right? Living, lasting, limitless beings. So before Hurricane Helene happened, I'm going to tell this, and I don't know if I already spoke this before or not. It was the Sunday before that was going to happen, or I believe so. Yes. Whatever it was 4 days prior. I was on my back deck, and a wind came through. Please hear me out. I was raised to, yes, listen to the wind. I was also raised that it will tell us what is going on or what is going to happen. And it will usually give you that 3 to 4 day warning, because I was raised with tribes that would have to relocate. The Plains Indians would have to, if the wind told us to move, we would pack everything up. That's why we lived in teepees, not in wigwams. We would pack everything up and we would travel for 2 days and then set up again. And a wind came through on my back deck that at first I went, whoa, what is this? And then I paused and I listened. And it told me something's going to get here in 4 days. And my immediate reaction, I didn't even know what was happening with the weather. So my immediate reaction was, well, I live in a time period that now I can just look at the news, look at the weather, which is awesome. And then I saw all that was going to be coming. The day of this, and I knew it was going to be bad, guys. I knew because the wind told me it was going to be like Katrina. I knew. I didn't know if it was going to be directly where I was at, but I knew it was coming. That was our key for me, who doesn't live in a teepee, but who lives in a structured building, to hunker down. This is the real point that I'm going to try to make here. That is my knowing. I do know how I was trained in how to listen to all of it, the fire, the air, all of it, right? And I was raised that way to do so for all security and spiritual and physical purposes. That is my knowing. So I knew 4 days prior that this was going to be as big as Katrina or even more so. The day of the storm, I was hunkering down because I now live in a, a permanent structure. Um, and I put it out there onto like social media, like Facebook. I explained everything that happened. This would have been a very clear sign to my people that we needed to travel for 2 days to get away from what was going to happen. It would have been a very clear sign. And so then I ended it with everybody, hunker down, protect your house, do this and that. Well, within 10 minutes of me posting that, I then realized in today's world, instead of people taking that message as an opportunity for awareness, an opportunity that I am sharing my awareness, that they would have taken it in great amount of fear. And so I took it down. I took it down because many of the viewers here at Stars of Morning Light understand that awareness is very different than fear based attitudes, opinions, feelings. The majority are in fear. Here at Stars of Morning Light, even if I speak about stuff that could seemingly, at first glance, first hearing, first sight, first knowing, could appear very fearful. But awareness, beloveds, is not full of fear. Awareness is actually calm action. Calm action. I wanted to make that just a statement because I am going to be probably throughout the end of this year. December is going to be a choice for everyone through their awareness, and it could be a magnificent period of light on the earth based out of choice through the awareness and the calm action that we take. It could potentially be magnificent, right? But I'm sharing awareness right now, not fear. So, to remember, to remember, to remember, to remember who you are. You're a beautiful star. Oh my gosh, you guys are wonderful. Oh, I love all the humans. They're so great. I love humans. Y'all are great. Trust me, I really do think you all are great. Because I know what could potentially happen as I teach about timelines at the end of this, how wonderful and amazing a collective body of humans can be. Individuals coming together as a collective is amazing. To remember who you are, to remember that about you, to remember that your securities that are fundamental to human living, inner security, outside security, all securities actually can be created, manifested, produced, known via your remembering of who you are. The remembering of who you are. Now, right now, we have in the sky, I will tell you, almost all ancient texts, reports to look at the sky to know what's happening. Look at the sky. Right now, currently, we have a storm of torrids just coming. They're about to start come. And it will climax torrids just coming. Just coming. Right? It will climax on November 5th. That night will be so very powerful in the sky. In the sky, folks. I hope you're feeling the chills because I'm feeling it as well. Within your soul memory, within the soul that has lived over and over and over again, you know that that energy in the sky can be used for our benefit as humans, as a collective, to even further our expansion of awareness and remembering who we are. Right? It could be very, very powerful, very, very great, very, very lovely. It has that potential. But as we get into the collective reading from the Akashic for November of 2024, many might not see it, might not feel it for the amplification, the illumination that is happening above to help us down here. As above, so below, as below, so above. We look to the sky and go, wow, that illuminates my soul into knowing, to gain the full awareness so I can live my life in calm action. I don't know if you guys know this, but in December, I believe December of 2020. It might have been December of 2021. My memory is getting a little screwy here with years. The years started getting kind of wonky for me by 2018. Hence why I'll talk about timelines at the end of this. The North Star appeared. It appeared again to us humans in December. Right? And it was right by Yule. It was we had such a great ceremony at my house from students who went through deep shadow work stuff for a few months into this beautiful Yule and North Star celebration. It was magical. Magical. That star is to remind us to return. And before I go into the Hopi prophecy of the blue star, Katina, that could at first glance be devastation, Armageddon, all sorts of horrible stuff, chaos, chaos, chaos. The order is there. Energy for order is always present. That star, the blue star, when it comes again, is also going to be like the North Star to remind us to return. Return to our beautiful, full knowing, awareness, soul journey of all memory within. So when anything happens, We do know how to calmly act and not react. Act. Because many of us have lived through all of this before. Many of us, when security comes into question, we actually do know what to do about it. We actually do know how to come together. We actually do know how to build communities. We actually do know how to live for self and others, compassion. We do know how to do all this. It is within our memory. So the North Star was to remind us of that compassion, to remind us of that unconditional love for self and others, to return to our spiritual ways, whatever that may be. That North Star is in many, many stories. Many people know it mostly from the three wise men and the birth of Jesus, right? But that star, folks, is actually within many stories and is always a representation to return to our spiritual senses and our spiritual practices, the old ways. Same as the Hopi prophecy of the blue star. So that prophecy, beloved people, and if you've never heard of it, please just go look it up, please. And this does relate to the January 2024 predictions that I talked in depth about other native prophecies there, and we are seeing things in full effect right now. But within these prophecies, the blue star of the Hopi, it is another ending. It represents another ending when this star appears. It represents another ending with great natural disasters. Um, Many of the Hopi are thinking it's going to be more earthquake situations, massive earthquakes, the shift of the poles, as we talk a lot here at Stars of Morning Light, so I can gear people up for what is, in my terminology, the great crack of like the Edgar Casey map, the shift of the poles. But within that prophecy, though, too, of the beautiful Hopi tribe, there's also this aspect of the northern tribes and the southern tribes, meaning from those who descend from the Aztec and the Mayan, sorry, will come back together. That the north and the south will come together. And this is actually spoken more, in my humble opinion, more in the southern tribes that held onto that aspect more because they weren't typically westernized fully yet to just focus on the Armageddon of all things, right? The disasters that will take place. There's a lot to the prophecy of humans, even the white man, even the white man, which here in America, North America, so much interchanging and uh, marriage and DNA. Um, it's hard for many of us to just distinctively say that we're completely white or we're completely native or we're completely um, African American or we're completely Asian. It is hard for us, those who are very much an American mutt, as we call ourselves, or we did back when. We are all together in this mix. So even in the prophecy, even the white man will learn to go back, return, remember the ancient ways of the connection with the earth, the connection with the earth. And those who do so, that remember who they are, their connection with the earth, they will know security. They will know calm action, awareness. So some of you might notice that recently I've been trying to Robin Lewis, a happy hippie holistics in Chadsworth, Georgia. Great patron here at Stars of the Morning Light. Dear lady, I love her. She's great. She has been making logos for me and different. She's been fooling around with some stuff. All is beautiful. Um, she had made one on her own, which you saw with like the pyramid with like it looks like a book opening, and it was beautiful. I loved it. It's absolutely great. What I did tell her though is I said, here's the one thing that I do know I need. I need a blue star. And I turned to her and I said, it goes into native prophecies, which I speak about a ton of different native prophecies here at Stars of Morning Light. And she was like, okay, okay. And she made a beautiful, it's a beautiful logo for SML, right? Because in a lot of social media, I just try to be SML to cut it short, right? Even though you're beautiful stars of the morning, which actually also comes from native stories, folks. It also comes from stories that start with when the stars of the morning would be singing. I'm trying to get us to understand that that is you. That is you. So, I think it was like 2 nights ago, though, I turned to my husband and I showed him the logos that Robin had made. And I said, well, I told her all that I understood that I needed for something was it has to be a blue star. And my husband looks at me and I said, well, based on the Hopi prophecy. And he just looked at me like, you want your logo to be of the blue star Katina of the Hopi prophecy? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, Courtney, so you want your logo to be of like the end of the world? And of course I'm laughing as I am now, and I was like, Brad, have I not taught you anything? um, that is, I want that. Because the message is here at Stars of the Morning Light, you beautiful beings, is that the ending and the beginning flow together, same as chaos and order. So which are we going to be viewing? Which are we going to be having action, manifesting beautiful energy within? Which are we going to choose? And so the blue star prophecy of the Hopi also is asking all peoples, if we choose to remember who we are, to remember the old ways, to remember that we are limitless, that we are also one with Earth, that it is a symbiotic relationship, then insecurities, our insecurities and fears will not be present for us. We can make it. Even if there is signs outside our door, outside our consciousness awareness that is trying to say, undoubtedly, all is going to go into the depths of chaos. We here at Stars of Morning Light, those who know that we are limitless, those who are going and remembering who they are, and establishing their relationship with the earth, wherever you are on the earth. Those who are doing that. Will we see what is going on around? Yes. Will we see the chaos? Yes. Yes, we will see the chaos. It will be in our face. But is how we see it. Do we see the order, the communities within, the balance within? The fact that we are limitless and we know what we're doing within. Will we do that? It is a choice. Oh, Kim just said different timelines. I am going to, at this moment, read the collective Akashic message for November 2024. And then, Miss Kim, I'm going to go into timelines, darling, because I'm really going to break that down because that is becoming, you hear it so often that I really do want to clarify what that actually means. So I said a lot today that you're going to have to go research yourself. If you are new here to Stars of the Morning Light, please share this out. Hit my like button for me, please. Subscribe, ding my bell, folks. I need, please go back and check that your bells are the bells are dung on your end too. Is that how you would say that? I don't know. I am realizing that YouTube removes a lot of the bells being rung here at Stars of the Morning Light, so please go back. My numbers are always shifting, and it's because of that. So, show your girl some love. Thank you. Good morning, Lucky. I see you. Happy Friday. I'm going to read the Akashic message for the collective of 2024. There's also just a separate video of that message. And today, y'all, the zodiac messages are released. I will tell you, I started reading Scorpio at the very onset. I think I stumbled too much, so I repeated it at the end as well. Read your zodiacs or listen to your zodiacs as well. All right, folks. So I'm going to read this and then I'm going to go into the concept of timelines. I really do have to clarify that for people in the aspect of infinite potentialities all humans are attached to. Okay. So this is the collective message for November 2024. Beloved creatures and inhabitants of the world, you are more connected now than your thoughts would tell you. All those ants in the brain, all that we apparently witness and see out there, trying to influence all those ants in our brain that speak of division and represent separation, they're actually not as present as our mind likes to tell us. Our minds are tricky, tricky things. They are tricky, tricky things. Your awareness, your remembering who you are, can override the day-to-day consciousness. Beloved creatures and inhabitants of the world, you are more connected now than your thoughts would tell you. Humans, animals, life on earth. You are one being, exclamation mark. You are one being, one force of energy moving in time and space. All things will change. Okay. Hand to heart, we take a nice deep breath. We can exhale with a smile. All things will change. Okay. All things happen with greater intent. The beginning will look like the end. The beginning of letting go and embracing the earth as one connection. The beginning will look like the end. Beloved, I started this series of chaos and order before I even got this message. Because I know, the beginning will look like the end. I already knew that. And the end will look like the beginning, depending on your viewpoint. For me, the ending will look like the beginning. Oh my goodness. I can see the beautiful order. I can see the light. I can see, as I am one with the earth, an inhabitant here, that this is of a greater intent. Nature is trying to tell you it's time! Exclamation mark. Nature is trying to tell you it is time. Time to remember you are an inhabitant of Earth, no matter where your origin is from, no matter where your origin of being started. Planets far away, great source thought form, wherever you are from, it does not matter. You chose to come here and you continuously kept choosing. And the main reason you kept choosing, beloved beings of light, you stars, the reason you kept choosing was Earth, was the magnificent that we as humans get to govern and shepherd and care and be in this body of form with her. But yet we forget. But yet we forget. Remember who you are. Nature is calling you back! Exclamation mark. Nature is calling you back. All the way back from when you originally decided to come, and there was not the TV in front of you. There was not the madness ensued that you knew about everywhere. You knew your tribe, your peoples, your customs, your connection to the earth. You harvest, you cared for her. When the wind blew and told you to move, you moved with the wind. You know all of this, and it does not matter what continent you are on. We all of us souls who decide to say the earth is our home for as long as it takes, wherever you were, in all the continents, at whatever given time, in your community, a lone traveler even, you had a connection to her. She is calling us back. She, the earth, she needs your focus more than the television. To be of one spirit energy, connected to all things, is to let go of democracy and release yourself from worry. Now, beloved beings, that does not just represent those here in the United States and all that is transpiring with us. That is to release yourself from the ideals that we have been living with for such a long time that have shaped our world of chaos, trying to create quote unquote order when order is always present within and around, and it does not come from outside influences of money, greed, and power. Period. So to let go of democracy and release yourself from worry. Democracy, all that happens within that, and think about the world. I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about all over the world where they have tried to put in institutions and put in such matters that get corrupt within the chaos that we already live, instead of coming together as a whole community, as a whole living being connected to the earth. This is the next line. This is why the Akashic says this. So I'm going to go back and read for a moment. Nature is calling you back. She needs your focus more than the television. To be one spirit energy, connected to all things, is to let go of democracy and release yourself from worry. To let go of duality. Nature is your home. Nature is your provider. Your home and your provider, all things that can create security within you and around you, comes from nature. You will not see the transition of community. You will not, sorry, you see not the transition of community. You see not the union of greater souls. You see not the fulfillment of better days. So when the Akashic says something like that of you see not, it's as if within our English language it would be you don't see. So they're saying many people are not going to see the transition of community. They will not see the union of greater souls. That is all of you. The union of greater souls. They will not see the fulfillment of better days, the greater intent. Because they will not see the beginning, they will only see the end, as it has stated many times. For you see the ending and not the beginning. Rejoice in letting go. Rejoice in coming together. Rejoice in the choice of freedom to express, do, act. Those are three separate things. Rejoice in the choice of freedom, your human free will, to express, do, act outside of the human dictator mindset. Now, I know many might say do and act are the same thing. Really think about that. Really think about that. Because oftentimes, I'll give you an example. Doing is an actual, especially when you add the ing, it becomes something physically, usually. Action, though, don't we often react? Don't we often react in our mind? Don't we often, not being conscious of what's going on, we just act in whatever way we do, right? It is actually two separate things, because action, act, can be of many things. We do have the choice of the freedom, to express, do, act outside of the human dictator mindset. That is literally speaking to the individual mindset that is going to be looking at the ending and not the beginning, who is going to be focused on the chaos and not see the order within flowing of the union of greater souls, the transitions of communities. Outside of that, we express, do, act. Humans are free to create. The ending is creating, exclamation mark. The ending is creating. Leaders of creation are present in times of chaos. Lights of the world, you so call them. To create is to let go completely. I'm going to read that again. The ending is creating, exclamation. Because the ending and the beginning are simultaneously. The chaos and the order are simultaneously. The great intent is over all of it. The ending is creating leaders of creation are present in times of chaos. Lights of the world, you call them. To create is to let go completely. So before I go into the timeline shift aspects and timeline jumping, what are these things of timelines? Beautiful stars, humans, you beloved humans who have been coming and coming and coming and coming with some form of objective creation that you are pursuing here on earth over and over again. And the only reason you have not possibly achieved it is because the fog within the chaos has you blinded to your infinite potentials. You are the lights of the earth. You are. You are the leaders of creation. You are the calm action, full awareness in these bodies of form that when we return to the old ways of being connected to the earth, who is screaming for us to know it is time. Come back to me, my children. We become limitless. We become all instantaneous manifestation in this creation that is lovely beyond measure. So, good morning, everyone. I am going to talk briefly about timelines now. I see that Deborah came in. Good to see you, my dear. Yes. Robert, good to see you. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Please give this video a thumbs up. Share it out to those others. I hope things resonate here with all peoples. Timelines. Timelines, like I kind of said at the beginning of the hour, is that the concept or the word, I should just say the word timeline is becoming somewhat of a cliche or somewhat of a I don't want to say cliche, that I apologize. That's not the right term. It's just loosely used in people's uh, conversations. To me, it's become very loose in understanding of what timelines are. So, and I bring this up is because you're about to hear a whole lot, especially by what is happening in the sky currently, especially around like I said, the climax of the torrid fields coming in. Oh my goodness. Boom, boom, boom. November 5th is an opportunity for us. Everything is opportunity. Everything is opportunity. So you're going to hear a lot of people talking, a lot of people talking about timeline shifts, timeline jumps, all sorts of things. Y'all, this is going to be definitely a discussion also about the Akashic records, because you can't talk about one without talking about the other, very much so. So let's talk about the individual. We're going to talk about you lovely, beautiful, individual energy beings. Whatever kind of energy being you are, energy being that has been living on this earth. I'm just going to talk about us here for right now, okay? Here on this earth, you have a continuous soul timeline that is in a spiral. That is in a spiral, okay? And I will tell you that spiral is attached to the earth. It's that beautiful torus field that goes around the earth, in and around, in and around, in and around, as we have seen images of. In a whole lot of ways, folks, that's our spirals. In a whole lot of ways. I'm going to state this. Are they necessarily that? I don't want anybody to um, uh, take that as the full explanation, because it's not. There's so much to this, and one day maybe I'll do a big video about it. But we can see, I'm trying to represent to you all that how energy works is the same here on the earth as it is anywhere in the ethereal. So your individual timeline, though, is connected to the earth. Once you chose to be here and you have a purpose for here, you are a leader of creation, you love the earth so much that you are willing to go through that spiral. You just keep going through that spiral, right? The spiral of your journey, your soul's journey, the reincarnated soul that just keeps spiraling and spiraling and spiraling. It's a continuous story. And it is, in many ways, a story that is always and has been for a very long time for many, many of us, regardless of where your origin of being is from. Once you attached it to the earth, once you are in what people call these meat suits, which this is a wonderful body, the best tool here on this earth. Thank goodness for this thumb. I can do so many things with just a thumb, right? These meat suits are amazing. These meat suits can actually last a whole lot longer than the projected television would like to tell us. So, your spiral of all of your lives, so therefore connected, therefore just an ever ending loop connected to the earth of all of your awareness, all of your memory as individual energy beings is always flowing in this current life of yours. It is always present for you to pull from your complete memory, conscious awareness. That potential is always present. And I apologize, the camera's shaking a bit because the dog is scratching his ear. Sammy. Right at the end, of course. I do apologize. The dog, whenever it's like, Mom, it's done, you're done working, he'll come in and start pawing or interrupt in some way to inform me that my job is done. So you wait a minute, kid, I'm not finished. So you all, every individual has this, is an ongoing energy, moving energy that your stories, all of your beautiful lives in chaos and order, living, all of your stories are there, flowing in one spiral timeline. That is your individual timeline. That is your individual timeline. Okay? Now, as I just said, all these humans, their individual timelines are also connected to Earth, who has an amazing torus field going in and through her and around all the time. Same as our bodies do, right? We have that torus field that's going all around, right? What about the collective timeline? What is that then? This is why I'm bringing this up, as in, what timeline are we exactly talking about? What timeline are we exactly talking about? And I'm not going to get very deep into this because this is actually a whole lot of different science, different thought theories. Um, but I want to stress the collective aspect. What we have an opportunity is as leaders of creation, as energy beings that can manifest all the time, if they know it or not, we have this thing called the Akashic records, or as we would say, um, the living waters of creation, or we would say the zero point of creation. All of that is actually the same thing. The Akashic records, the living waters of creation, the zero point of creation, however you want to say it, the beautiful spinning energy force that was in the Nagamati scriptures, as we read in one of the last episodes, I believe, when we talked about um, Sophia also seeing her reflection in the living waters and wanting to create something, did not get the permission to do so, and she created the bastard son who caused the chaos. Those living waters of creation, which most ancient stories, texts talk about some kind of creation pool, water, vision, image of some sort, right? That is the Akashic records. Please take that in for a moment. So, most people, when they ask, because man, I've been getting it a lot lately, who's going to win the election? What's going to happen in the United States? Is World War III going to happen? Is this going to happen? Is it? I've been getting it a lot lately. This is what I will tell you. A collective timeline. So when people say timeline shift, timeline jump, collective timelines, now I'm making it plural, folks, because if there's a shift or a jump, there must be another to jump to. Collective, human collective timelines. Human, because there's variations as well. Human collective timelines are made up of infinite potentialities. Infinite potentialities. So, as a reader right now, when someone says, what's going to happen on November 5th? What's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? What's happening, Courtney? It is very, very difficult to announce an absolute because the future is not written in stone. How is that so? Because if more of us beautiful humans remember who we are and believe in ourselves within that memory, believe in ourselves because we remember all of our lives, testimony, 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 testimony that we endure. We have all sorts of security within. We are limitless beings. When more of us remember and based out of our beliefs of ourselves, start to choose just differently, calm action awareness, calm action awareness, start to choose differently. Well, lovely beings, different timelines will pull from different potentialities, collective. So you could have a timeline that is your Armageddon of a sorts, that is more of like the Mad Max variation of things that we're all there's no water and we're in the desert. Oh my goodness. And I'm using old films to kind of drive home a point. You could have a timeline that is more of the Blade Runner, that everything is technology, and oh my goodness, the people are out just for themselves and it's a dangerous world. You could also have a world that through an ending and a beginning focuses on the beginning, knowing that they are leaders of creation and create space here on earth, time here on earth, based on joy, love, peace, harmony, unity, community, rather than greed, corruption, jealousy. The infinite potentialities of what humans can do, can pull from, can trust in their knowing, trust in their remembering, know that they are limitless beings and say, you know what? I want that potentiality. I want that potentiality for myself and for others. Yes, I'm going to pull that into my life. I'm going to own that because that is why I came here in the first place. I'm going to do that. And the more humans do that, pulling and gathering from the infinite potentialities that are out there, all sorts of creation can be done, and more do that. And then those potentialities align with each other. And oh, this one is of fear, greed, and turmoil. Okay, all that stuff, you go over to that timeline. Oh, love, peace, harmony, unity. Oh, you all, that energy likes to be with itself. Let's put this into another timeline. Timelines, beloveds, as far as the collective and as far as you, we are always writing them in the day, in the circumstance, in the moment, in seeing the beginning and not the end, in seeing the opportunity to create, to have compassion over fear, to have compassion over judgment, to have faith over insecurity, to believe, to give opposed to receive. We have all opportunity to create timelines. Now, are there some currently in the mix? Yep. And then the infinite potentialities will kind of latch on to ones that are aligned with the same energy. And maybe because we're limitless beings, we will create all new ideas and concepts that are also beautiful and that they will form anew. I am trying to state that your individual timeline is ever evolving and it holds the memories of all that you are. You beautiful, authentic light being in this world who can live without fear because you already know how to calmly act, how to calmly be with your full awareness in your memory and your return, as we always do, our choice of return to the earth. We continuously choose to come back to her. I'm asking for us to maybe do that before we depart her. There's no reason why we can't return as we are in love and embracing arms of her every single time we come. But then the fog has us forget, well, let's do it before The fog has us clouded. Let's just return right now to our lovely state of energetic light beings here. And in the same motion, same energetic choice motion, your freedom, your human freedom, can choose what world timeline would you like for you, your loved ones, your community, for everyone to share. What aspects of energy would you like in there? What would you like to see? What representation of energy would you like within a timeline? Because in the sea of creation, in the waters of creation, in the Akashic records, in all of this, the waters of neutrality, the waters of creation. Please remember, as I have stated here many a times before, all energy is neutral until we, or some energy being, tells it, hey, energy, I want to see love, peace, and light in the world. That's what you're going to be. And that energy goes, cool. Thank you for giving me the job. Thank you for telling me what I am. Thank you. I'm going to work real hard to be this. All energy is neutral until we identify it, until we see it, until we say, hey, this is a beginning, not an ending. All energy. So the infinite potentials of quote unquote timelines. If you want to jump, jump. If you want to shift, shift. It is your call. It is sincerely your human free will to call it. That is how energy works. That is how the waters of creation work. You see it, you call it, so it be. So it is truly up to us. And there's infinite potentialities. Just how, like here, there's infinite possibilities, opportunities to practice compassion over judgment. Opportunities to remind ourselves that we are secure. We do have full memory. We are leaders of creation. To see the beginning instead of the ending. To see the transition of community. To see the greater intent. To see the unity. To see that all the creatures and inhabitants of the earth can, with choice freedom that we all have, all inhabitants of the earth can be of one spirit. So I wanted to make that clear because you're going to hear a lot of things about timeline shifts. People jump in timelines, or we just jumped a timeline. But yet, there's no actually explanation as to how that happens, or explanation as to where did we just jump to. There seems to never be an explanation until right now. I am telling you, it is your choice. It is your choice in all things. You limitless, beautiful leader of creation, you wonderful star, your being. It is your choice. The potentials are infinite. Choose. And I will tell you, everyone, come December, I knew this back in August when I was going through some ultimate work within myself from my teachers, and wow, I knew back in August, wow, December. I will tell you right now, in December, there will be an opportunity, a big window of opportunity for us to jump, shift. I rather say create a new, complete new timeline that the majority of us would like to jump to, get to, be living. It requires, though, seeing the beginning and not the end. So start thinking about it. Start realizing that chaos and order, they're just energy that flows in and out, in and out. If we want more order, then we identify the order. If we want more chaos, well, then we keep the live streams of chaos going. You ever heard that word? Live stream? It's a terrifying word to me. Choice. And in December, there will be great opportunity to truly living anew. So I'm leaving everybody with that. I love you all dearly. Sometimes I come a little forceful. Apologize, it's in my nature. I told you all I was intense. It's because I'm really trying to drive home all of this stuff. Because I know how wonderful humans are. I know how great and powerful humans are. I know how the freedom of choice actually works in the waters of creation. And you all are so beautiful and so powerful. And your connection to all things is a vibration that the magnitude is immeasurable. I think you're amazing. I think you're amazing. It's all amazing. So, have a beautiful Friday. Have a lovely weekend. Please stay connected to Stars of the Morning Light. I will be posting in the community section about dates that I'll be doing in person classes or classes on Patreon, all sorts of things. Be with Lucky Stone 888 and I tonight at 8 p.m. here. It will be pre recorded. Folks, I am so close to 500. Come on now. Subscribe, tell others, please. And thank you. You beautiful, sincere, generous, humble, lovely leaders of creation. I know and trust, and I know that you all want the most lovely things for self and others. Know that you have the power to do so. So, with that, have a great weekend. It is November 1st, 2024, the first of the month. Spend time maybe this weekend to go, the first, new beginnings. Courtney said we can create a new. What would I want that to look like? And allow your beautiful imagination to blossom with expansion of great, lovely ideas. I'm so excited for everyone. I love you all. Thank you all for coming in the chat. I will catch you. For a little friendly reminder, I will not be here next Friday because my girlfriend will be in town, but I will be around. And stay tuned for Edgar Casey on Wednesday, November 6th, because it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a good time. Bye, folks.